I'm Patrick Lancaster, and unfortunately, as many of you know, a conservative influencer, activist, founder of Turning Point USC conservative student organization, Charlie Kirk, has been killed. And this is a horrible attack that's obviously aimed at reducing free speech. Benjamin Netanyahu called on people to pray for Charlie. There's already many theories and even conspiracy theories coming out. Who killed him? Was it a professional? Was it just some crackpot? What exactly happened? Well, one theory that's starting to go around and really resurface is that Charlie was possibly afraid that Israel would take him out if he turned on them. Now, this rumor or theory is being backed by a tweet that Harrison Smith of the American Journal on InfoWars tweeted saying, I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them.
I wanted to make a video at least to talk a little bit about my tweet that's gone completely viral from last month. It's now the #1 tweet on anything Benjamin Netanyahu is posting. So thanks, guys. Really glad I'm on his radar now. That's cool. But it's true. I mean, I don't really have too much to add to it, honestly. I'm not going to say who it was that told me because they've asked me not to, kind of for obvious reasons. So if they want to go public, they're more than welcome to. I don't have much to add to it other than basically like a month ago, I watched an interview with Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk, and I thought they looked scared, and I commented on that, made a video out of it. And then like a day or so later, I was talking to this person, and the way I remember the conversation going was that we were just talking about sort of Israel and Zionism and Zionist influencers, and Charlie Kirk came up, and I remember the other person saying to me, well, you know, Charlie Kirk says he's afraid to go against Israel because he thinks they might kill him. And I said, that's crazy because I just made that video about how Charlie Kirk seems scared. That's crazy that you're saying that right now. And that's the way the conversation, I remember it going. It may have been the other way around. I may have said they look scared, and they said, well, you know, he says he thinks, you know, Israel will kill him for going against him. But then we talked about other stuff. You know, we moved on. I don't really have any more information other than that. You know, at the time I was thinking, you know, Charlie Kirk seems scared he's going to lose his sponsors, lose, you know, donors, something like that. I wasn't even thinking about losing his life. So that was my reaction. It was like, whoa, you know, I just made a video saying that, but I wasn't even thinking he was scared of dying. I thought he was scared of, you know, losing support, losing his position. So I really don't have anything else to say. I wish I did. I will, oh shit. Sorry. I will, I don't know. I'll take your calls on it tomorrow on American Journal, on InfoWars. But I wish I had more to say, but I really don't, about that topic. You know, I think the sad thing is, or the truth of the matter is, whoever they identify as the shooter is, you know, most people aren't going to think it's the shooter. So in a way, you know, the speculation was inevitable. I don't think my tweet was the thing that made people, you know, think that Israel could be behind this. I think there's a lot of other reasons. But obviously, my tweet sort of frames it in a certain way that there is video backing up. But yeah, that's the whole story. You know, I don't really have anything else to add to it. I don't have any inside information, and honestly, one of the reasons I don't want to go live right now is because there's not a lot of information one way or the other. So I'll wait till tomorrow and cover it in the morning with everything out in front of me. But I should pray for Charlie Kirk's soul, pray for his family, and pray for America, man. We're entering into a very dangerous timeline.
And this theory is possibly fueled by several things. One being when Charlie was on with Megyn Kelly, where they discussed the possibility that Epstein was a Mossad agent. And there's other possibilities. We can see those here.
Do you think there's any intel community involvement in this?
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I am convinced, based on my own sources and my own reporting on this story, he wasn't one of ours.
So he was an American, which leads basically three options: MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
Which one would you choose?
I guess Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's possible that that's the reason everything's getting buried, that there is some treasure trove, and it's getting buried because...
How many people here believe that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'd say about half the hands think that it's being buried because of an Israeli thing.
It could be. I really don't know.
And I have no evidence to suggest that.
No, me neither. I did think it was very odd how, look, half of you raised your hands because you've heard that theory, you've heard it debated, you have questions, but the one time Pam Bondi was asked a question about this at the cabinet meeting on Monday, she was like, and as for whether he was an agent, that I don't know. I haven't looked into that. I'll get back to you. You haven't looked into it? What do you mean? So that was kind of a fishy answer.
And Megan, remember Alexander Acosta in 2007, he said he was told to treat Epstein carefully because he was an intel asset. That was one of Trump's cabinet secretaries who was literally a U.S. attorney 3 hours from here in Florida. He said that himself.
Well, and let me tell you the consequences of that. His subpoena, his search warrant on Jeffrey Epstein's residence was very narrow. It was not the kind of like, let's get everything. Let's see everything inside this guy's, dressers and so on. It was very, very narrowly tailored. And to this day, that's what the FBI is stuck with. So it really is possible that Dan and Cash got in there and, in like a Geraldo and Al Capone's vault situation, opened it up and we're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing in here. Like, we did not find the magic documents or photos or evidence of anything. And why not? I don't know we'll ever know why not. I'm not sure we'll ever know, but...
And one thing a friend said to me, interestingly, which is, okay, Charlie, we've pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border, so like maybe we should also ask a question: is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse.
Well, when you take a look at the video and you take a look at the venue and the spectators and how close they are to Charlie Kirk, and then you have that kind of like umbrella over him, that kind of tent, you have to know that this shooter had to be perched in a position with respect to being able to lay his sights perfectly, basically a headshot. And the shot that was taken to immediately incapacitate Charlie Kirk. And so this was not some amateur who just, got up on a rooftop because it was, what I consider spontaneous combustion. He got up this morning and decided he was going to do something crazy. This seems the earmark of a professional that got up onto this rooftop well in advance of the venue being occupied by the spectators. He was clearly undetected. There was no indication that anybody saw him up on this rooftop. Obviously, after that one single shot was taken, he was able to basically very quietly and systematically elude any further detection and escape. There's been no indication that there's been a vehicle identified.
And let's not forget that today is the 24th anniversary of 9/11, the attacks on our World Trade Center and Washington. Let's also keep that in mind. And now we've got a terrorist attack and assassination on our soil today. Well, yesterday. The shooter's still at large. As of the filming of this, September 11th, 2025. Will he be captured? We don't know. But the FBI and other authorities are giving a plea to the public for information. Right now, the investigation is reviewing security footage from the campus, which there's got to be a lot of cameras on the campus to go through, a lot of footage. So we'll see what the outcome is, but there is no suspect in custody right now. There were 2 arrested and released, or detained and released, but no one now. Kind of weird how he got away so quickly. But as the FBI agent said, he is a professional, whoever did this. This has been a direct attack on freedom of speech. There's no question about it. And unfortunately, Charlie was a casualty of it.